This is the most powerful electrical force on Earth. Hotter even than the sun. A killer from above. For generations, a mystery. Now, the latest camera technology reveals its most shocking secrets. Lightning, violence from the skies of our raging planet. Around the world, lightning strikes more than 8 million times every day, 100 times a second. A bolt of lightning superheats the surrounding air, causing it to rapidly expand and explode. The shockwave creates a clap of thunder. Most lightning never touches the ground. It discharges inside thunderclouds. But when it does leave the clouds, it can strike anywhere on Earth, delivering 1 trillion watts of electricity, enough energy to power an entire city. Running across the center of Florida is America's lightning hotspot, known as Lightning Alley. Every year, there are over 50 strikes per square mile, and every year, people get hit. On a September evening in 1999, fisherman Dave Grillmeyer had just cast his line into the lake. Without warning, a bolt of lightning streaked down from the cloud above him, with shocking consequences.
The rod, as you see here, what's left of it, was about a 7-foot rod. It was obviously so hot that it burnt the epoxy away, evaporated, and left nothing but the carbon fibers at the end of the rod.
It wasn't just the rod that was damaged. Dave suffered multiple burns, but it was the condition of his clothes that revealed the true power of the strike.
The zipper was all gone, and several months later, I asked the paramedic, well, was there anything stuck in me? He goes, your zipper was almost burned onto your abdomen. That's how hot it got. This is what's left. This is where my beeper was at, on my side. Doesn't look too bad there compared to what the beeper looked like when I got it back.
Dave thought his boots were untouched until he saw strange pinholes where the lightning finally left his body.
I guess the electricity passed through my body to the bottom of the shoe and jumped over the heel and back to the ground itself.
Dave was one of the lucky ones. 1 out of 10 lightning strike victims dies instantly. Across North America, more people are killed by lightning than by tornadoes or hurricanes. But there is a place on Earth that's even more dangerous. The heart of equatorial Africa. Here, there are more lightning strikes than anywhere else on Earth. Dr. Earl Williams of the Massachusetts Institute of Technology is a world authority on lightning. Using data from NASA satellites, he calculates that lightning strikes the Congo Basin more than twice as many times as Florida. In some places, there are over 300 strikes per square mile every year. But lightning in this part of the world has rarely been studied.
Thanks very much.
So today, Earl is at the border between Zambia and the Democratic Republic of Congo to witness the lightning for himself. As darkness falls, the thunderstorms begin.
There's been much evidence that this is the most electrically active place on the planet, and now to finally be here and see it from the ground and witness the high rates of lightning is very exciting.
Some strikes can't be seen with the naked eye, so one way to count them is by using an optical sensor that beeps every time there's a flash. An average storm produces around 2 strikes a minute. Here, Earl measures more than 60 a minute.
The storms here are definitely living up to expectations. They're producing lightning at rates which are extraordinarily high. This is really the best place to study lightning on Earth.
The Congo Basin provides the perfect conditions for large electrical storms. As the Earth is heated by the sun, it produces lots of warm, moist air. Warm air rises. As it gains height, the moisture cools and condenses to form clouds. These clouds grow and merge into larger ones, rising all the time. Some of the water drops become too heavy for the updraft of air to lift and fall as rain. Are lifted by powerful air currents high into the cold upper regions, where they freeze into tiny crystals of ice. As the cloud hits the base of the stratosphere, it spreads out sideways to form the anvil shape typical of thunderclouds.
The clouds that make lightning are the largest clouds in the atmosphere. A big active cumulonimbus cloud is about as wide as it is deep, and they generate long anvils which extend horizontally in the prevailing wind aloft.
Some ice crystals build in size to form small hailstones. Scientists believe that as these hailstones fall back through the rising ice crystals, millions of tiny collisions occur. These collisions build up an electric charge, which is stored in the cloud like a battery.
A cloud is very much like a battery, but a battery with a much higher voltage than your typical flashlight battery. Not 1.5 volts, but 100 million volts.
But what scientists don't know is exactly how this electric charge generates lightning.
What remains a major meteorological mystery is how it is that ice particle collisions result in the generation of lightning. We're very much in the Middle Ages on that problem.
It's extremely difficult to study lightning, since each strike lasts just a fraction of a second. One of the best ways to investigate it is to freeze the action using a camera. David Stillings is a photographer who patrols Lightning Alley in pursuit of electric storms. For the last 30 years, he's been obsessed with lightning.
I'd put my last few cents in my gas tank if it meant I could go chase a storm.
His success rate is less than 1%, but when he does capture lightning, the results are spectacular.
Back in 1976, this was the first one. And when it popped out of that cloud right there with that blue sky in there and the purple cloud, oh. And from that point on, lightning was everything I wanted to photograph. This particular one, it's got so many bolts of lightning in it, and they all happened at the same time. And this is in 2004. The shutter couldn't have been open more than 1 second. A purple sky, gold sunset, all the neat stuff that I love to see out there, and it all came together in one photograph. That's cool.
But before David can even begin to photograph lightning, he has to find it.
Those 2 domes there might be getting high enough to produce lightning. And the sun is breaking through and it's going to heat it up, the humidity is going to start, and this is cool. This has the potential of doing good stuff.
Photographer David Stillings has found a thunderstorm that will produce lightning. Now the challenge is to point his camera in the right direction.
And I hope it's a big one right there.
An average storm here will produce a couple of lightning flashes every minute, but it's impossible to predict where they will strike next.
Whoa, whoa! Now I'm in the wrong spot again. Jeez. Oh, whoa! Be later, please. Man, listen to this thunder. Listen to this. Listen to that. There's another one right there out of the, oh man.
This is a dangerous occupation.
Because I gotta, oh man.
Lightning can strike anything and anyone up to 25 miles away from a cloud. David prefers to use a traditional film camera, so he never knows whether he's got the shot until he gets the processed photos back.
Please tell me there's something on there. Roll after roll after, oh look, I got a streak of lightning right there.
Occasionally, David's patience pays off, and he manages to capture the elusive phenomenon on film.
Oh, look, the channel, yay! Oh man, oh man, is that cool? This is neat, man. The bottom line is, yeah, this is my addiction. But if you have to be addicted to something, look.
A picture of a lightning strike frozen in time can be a work of art. But photography is also extremely valuable for scientific analysis. When observed with the naked eye, lightning appears to travel from the clouds directly to the ground. But recent advances in video camera technology reveal that the anatomy of lightning is much more complex. This is the U.S. Air Force Atmospheric Research Center in Colorado Springs. Here, Dr. Jeff McHargue is using a super slow-motion camera to capture lightning. To do this, he needs split-second timing.
Oh, darn it. It's a lot like fishing. You just have to get lucky and get the lightning bolt inside your field of view.
Success is rare, but 2 years ago, McHargue hit the jackpot.
I was simply watching the lightning get closer and closer, and I kept recording it, and I didn't know what I had until I went back and reviewed it.
For the first time ever, Jeff had recorded the birth of a lightning bolt in super slow motion. When played back, it shows a flash of light dart out of a cloud and zigzag downward in roughly 50-yard segments. This first stage of lightning is called a stepped leader.
You can see the stepped leader coming down here, looking for ground, going back and forth. You can see the tortuous channel that it's taking as it divides back and forth.
As this stepped leader gets close to the Earth, it has an extraordinary effect on objects on the ground. They respond to the strong electric field by growing positive streamers. these reach up anywhere between 3 and a few hundred feet above the ground, as seen in these rare photographs. Finally, when a stepped leader and a positive streamer meet, the electric charge can drain to Earth, resulting in the blinding flash of light we call lightning.
The entire field of view lights up. That's the main part of the lightning strike that your eye will catch.
The new generation of cameras has enabled scientists to record a strike that lasts just a fraction of a second and play it back over 200 times slower to analyze its detail. These super slow motion images show the stepped leader making a connection with the ground. The entire charge then drains from the cloud above, seen as a series of pulses. Using the latest camera technology, scientists are beginning to unravel the mysteries of lightning. And new research has revealed that hot and humid city environments can cause much more frequent lightning storms. Tampa, Florida is the lightning capital of the United States, with more lightning than anywhere else. Scott Steiger from the State University of New York believes the reason the city attracts lightning is because Tampa is an urban heat island.
And the urban heat island is caused by the fact that the city area has a lot more impervious surfaces of asphalt and concrete that absorbs a lot of the sun's solar radiation. That energy gets re-emitted and warms the air in the city.
A city can be as much as 15 degrees warmer than the surrounding rural areas. As the warm air rises, it creates strong upward convection in the atmosphere over the city.
Now, this urban heat island can cause more thunderstorms as it develops a convergent zone over the city, which helps to lift the air and initiate more thunderstorms.
The creation of thunderstorms means lightning is inevitable.
Especially cities in warm, humid climates like Tampa Bay, Florida, and Houston, Texas, are very capable of producing more thunderstorms and more lightning, which is more dangerous to the public living in those cities.
Scientific research has recently produced evidence come down from above. It also streaks up high into the sky. Here in Rapid City, scientist Tom Warner has been using high-speed photography to uncover a previously hidden world of lightning.
We're seeing things in such a way that we've never seen before.
Using a battery of cameras, he's managed to capture some astonishing images, which show lightning traveling not from cloud to ground, but shooting upwards. This extraordinary form of lightning has been known about since the 1930s, but these pictures have finally confirmed its existence.
This is the first time that mankind has seen upward lightning in such detail as we're seeing right now, and our understanding of physics relating to these upward flashes is increasing immensely.
Tom has observed that upward lightning is triggered by a nearby cloud-to-ground lightning strike. In this image, a lightning strike produces a bright flash of light. In under a second, it initiates the formation of upward leaders from 2 radio masts. Why this happens is still a mystery. But Tom's theory is that the lightning strike causes large amounts of electric charge to build up around the top of a tall structure. And this charge leaps up and connects with a cloud above.
You'll see a delay between when the flash takes place and then the leader is shot up from the tower tip and goes upward.
The images Tom has filmed over the last few years have astounded the world of lightning science. This mysterious lightning would never have been seen without state-of-the-art technology. But to see one of the greatest lightning displays on the planet, the only equipment you'll need is your eyes. Here, on Venezuela's Lake Maracaibo, a team of scientists from the University of Zulia are setting out in search of the region's legendary Catatumbo lightning. Unusual conditions in this area create a unique kind of lightning. Methane gas bubbles up from rotting vegetation in the swamps and rivers. And Lake Maracaibo's oil fields also produce methane gas as a byproduct. It all accumulates in the atmosphere above the marshes. As night falls, the scientists are hoping for an electrical storm so they can study the extraordinary effects of the gas. Methane is lighter than air. As it rises up into the clouds, it feeds the storm, creating brighter, much more colorful lightning. But lead scientist Professor Angel Munoz and his team think there may be more to Catatumbo lightning than meets the eye.
In the last 10 years, we found that there are more than double the electrical discharge and flashes. So most probably it's related to global warming, but we still need to do some research about it.
Catatumbo lightning leaps from cloud to cloud and is much more powerful than cloud-to-ground lightning. On average, it can be seen on 200 nights of the year for up to 10 hours a night.
Catatumbo lightning is an amazing phenomenon. It's unique, it's beautiful, it's in our heart, it's in our anthem, it's in our flag. That's what Catatumbo lightning is for us.
This display is so colossal, it's visible 100 miles out to sea. For centuries, sailors used it for navigation. It was known as the Maracaibo Lighthouse. A lightning storm can be spectacular from a distance, but up close, lightning can be deadly. During a thunderstorm, the most dangerous place to be is in a wide open space, including any large expanse of water. And it's true that sheltering under a tree is a bad idea. Lightning can turn tree sap into superheated steam, making the tree explode in a shower of potentially deadly splinters. Lightning can also travel down telephone lines. There is a very scary warning sign that you're in danger.
If your hair stands up, you've just become a positive streamer. And coming down from that cloud up there is a negative leader, that if you don't do something right now, when they connect, you've just become a bolt of lightning.
If this happens to you, the best thing to do is to quickly squat down on the balls of your feet. Student Carolyn Nath had no warning she was in danger. She was making her way to class at the University of South Florida in Tampa when lightning struck.
I heard a loud, loud crack of thunder, and within a second, I saw a light. Basically, the corridor in front of me of palm trees was an overexposed picture, and I felt the electricity start going through my entire body. I could feel it every ounce, every inch of my body. My muscles expanded, they contracted very tightly, and every nerve, I could feel that pressure going through my entire body.
The after effects were devastating.
Everything was completely swollen, my skin was lobster red. It was basically like I had a very, very severe sunburn. So afterwards, all my skin peeled off.
A lightning flash contains up to 200,000 amps, but it takes just 1/10 of an amp to kill a person. So how do victims survive a lightning strike and live to tell about it? Doctors at the University of Illinois have been trying to find the answer. Professor Marianne Cooper is an expert on what happens when lightning strikes.
When lightning attaches to a person, the vast majority of the energy goes around the outside of the person rather than through them.
Instead of striking vital organs, the charge flows through the moisture on the skin and down to the ground. It can leave behind scars called Lichtenberg marks.
As it's going around the outside, it may turn the rainwater or the sweat that the person has on them into steam.
Sometimes, the buildup of steam in clothing or shoes can have explosive consequences.
Just like you may have heard about it, people in explosions where they're blown out of their shoes, that's what we can see sometimes with lightning as well, because that sweat or the water expands tremendously so that we actually see more damage to the inside of footwear and sometimes to clothing than we see to the outside of it.
A lightning strike can cause cardiac arrest, but this is rare.
The vast majority of people survive lightning injury, although they may have permanent problems, including damage to the nervous system.
One survivor, Pam Cooper, is still suffering from the damaging power of a strike.
I was just a mom sitting on the beach with my book, minding my own business, doing nothing extraordinary. And my life was changed forever by lightning. I don't remember the actual event of being struck. It's through my friends and family that I know secondhand what exactly happened to me.
On that fateful day, Destin Beach in Florida was hot and sunny.
My family says that they heard a large clap of thunder, lightning. Everyone else was starting to scurry and pick up their belongings because of the lightning strike being so close. I was sitting with my feet in the sand, and the lightning struck the sand and then came up through my feet.
Pam was rushed to the hospital with extensive burns. 5 years later, she still suffers from mobility problems and short-term memory loss.
Being struck by lightning is very similar to a computer crashing, because on the outside, I look fine, but on the inside, my circuitry's all messed up.
Pam's experience could happen to anyone, so it's vital to know exactly what to do to protect yourself from a lightning strike. When a thunderstorm forms, people's lives can be at risk.
We tell people when thunder roars, go indoors. What we mean is seek a safer shelter.
If you're ever caught out in a thunderstorm, one of the safest places to be is in a closed vehicle.
Many people believe the rubber tires on a car will keep them safe, but that's not true. It's the car's metal body that provides protection, as this high-voltage experiment will demonstrate. A Tesla coil is the lightning simulator, an electrical transformer that discharges 750,000 volts of electricity, more than enough to kill. Dr. Lisa Lazarek is an electrical engineer who's willing to sit in a car underneath the coil to prove that the metal body will protect her.
The electrical charge striking this car is going to conduct around the outside surface of the enclosed body, so I should be fine as long as I don't touch the metal of the car. But it's one thing to talk about the theory, and it's another thing to put it into practice. So I guess I'm ready.
The electrical charge flows around the metal body of the car and discharges harmlessly to the ground.
I'm fine. The theory has worked as expected. My feet are slightly tingling, and because I was nervous, my hands are still clamped together. But other than that, I'm fine.
The experiment has just proved the rule of physics, that an electrical charge, like lightning, will always travel around the outside surface of an enclosed metal body. That's why passengers are unharmed when a plane is struck by lightning. This incredibly rare footage of a plane flying into Sydney Airport shows a dramatic strike. No one on board even knew they'd been hit. And this video captures another, as a plane takes off from an airport in Japan. Once again, the passengers had no idea what happened. On average, every commercial aircraft is hit once a year.
I was to fly into the storm and get hit by lightning as many times as I possibly could. Hail beyond a certain size would collapse the windscreen and probably be a fatal situation.
This is the heaviest turbulence I've flown in 3 years.
Oh, right side. Good strike. Okay, loud flash just to the right. Ah, good run.
Direct strike to the aircraft, no triggers. That was a nose boom strike.
You'd see in front of you this huge, intensely bright streamer attached to the nose. Then it would progressively skip aft on the airplane, and you'd see it sweep past you as it was skipping from point to point. And when you flew past it, then the channel would detach.
Besides suffering a direct hit from a lightning bolt, the biggest threat to life is when lightning triggers fire. During the summer of 2008, an unusually high number of lightning strikes set large areas of California on fire. One single storm unleashed up to 5,000 lightning strikes, igniting more than 1,000 individual fires. The flames destroyed dozens of homes. In a lightning-prone area, living in houses built among trees carries a high risk. Lightning fires can destroy property and devastate forests, but they can also have a positive effect on the landscape. Nature has evolved a way to work in harmony with lightning fires, and even depends on them to renew life. Here, in the Australian outback, lightning fires are a common occurrence. Jeffrey Lee is a park ranger charged with looking after the land. He welcomes the fires because they clear the ground and encourage the regrowth of edible plants, or bush tucker.
Brings back new grass and tree, leaf, it's good now. You look at everything all green. Bush tucker coming back in the area, you know, like green plum and black plum and sweet potato. Namaragon is the lightning man, is a very sacred man. If you look behind me, the rock behind me, is where the Namaragon live. I've seen lots of Namaragon hit and cause fire. And the bushfire didn't stop for a couple of weeks. I think Namaragon is very important, and we can do a lot of things on the land.
Many plant species have evolved to colonize the areas these fires lay bare, and some seeds actually need fire to germinate. Lightning also helps produce vital plant fertilizers. At its peak, The temperature of a lightning bolt hits 50,000 degrees, burning the air. In the heat, nitrogen and oxygen react together to create nitrates. These rain to Earth and provide nutrients for plants. Scientists have now discovered that lightning may also be playing a part high in the Earth's atmosphere. When these bizarre images were taken from above the Earth, they took scientists completely by surprise. They showed huge bursts of light flashing over the top of electric storms. Called sprites, they were first photographed in 1989. Since then, scientific projects around the world have joined the hunt for these elusive phenomena. In 1997, New Zealand scientist Professor Richard Dowden arrived in Australia's Northern Territory on a quest for a bizarre kind of lightning called sprites. Richard wanted to be one of the first to capture them on camera. He came here with his scientific team to Beatrice Hill, 40 miles east of Darwin, Australia. This region is home to some of the biggest thunderstorms on Earth. But Richard wasn't interested in regular lightning bolts. He was chasing sprites, which appear directly above thunderstorms. Beatrice Hill was a perfect place to spot them because you need a clear view of the top of a thundercloud from a distance of at least 60 miles. Even then, they're hard to see with the naked eye because they're only visible for a few milliseconds. So Richard had a special modification on his standard amateur camera.
The big change was this thing in front of it, which is an image intensifier. These are used by the military all over the world. Rather hard to get, the ones which are very sensitive. This one here actually came from Russia, from the Russian military.
Richard and his team waited, night after night, taking turns manning the camera. After nearly 2 weeks, they finally had a breakthrough.
Well, on the night we got those sprites, it was really a big thrill. But we didn't know what was there until we ran the tapes back out of the camera.
The tapes revealed these flickering images of sprites, which are speeding through the atmosphere at more than 1/10 the speed of light.
And that was a fantastic thing. I don't think we got any more sleep that night.
Scientists remain mystified by the first fleeting sightings of sprites. But just 2 years later, Dr. Jeff McHarg of the U.S. Air Force Atmospheric Research Academy made another breakthrough. He managed to record sprites using an image intensifier on the front of his super slow-motion camera.
It was probably the most fun I've actually ever had taking data. It was just great. We took data all night long. We recorded pretty much every tape that we had.
The tapes revealed an incredible variety of sprites. The scientists have since given them names.
What we're looking at right now is a jellyfish sprite. And the first thing you'll see is they're very large. They're maybe 30 miles tall. 30 miles wide. Just think about that. That's almost from Colorado Springs to Denver.
Then there's the extraordinary carrot sprite.
It physically looks like a carrot, with the upper part being like the leaves of a carrot and the downward tendril that we call it going like the stalk of the carrot.
And Jeff also captured the C, or column sprite.
Here we have 3 of them side by side, and the motion is pretty much all down, hence the name column or sea sprite.
Around the world, as many as 10 sprites could be shooting up from the clouds every minute.
If you think about the atmosphere, the only energy input is sunshine. And what we found out that night was that at night, when the sun has of course set, sprites can actually input energy and change the middle atmosphere. That was very exciting. We didn't understand that until this. An area that they may be important is, for instance, in climate change.
Large-scale electrical discharges that make the air above them glow in a similar way to a fluorescent light bulb. But it will take a lot more research before scientists truly understand these electrical phenomena. Even though the serious study of lightning began over 2 centuries ago, scientists are still struggling to figure out what guides lightning's path, or why it chooses to strike in one place over another.
We've learned a lot about lightning in the last few hundred years, but there is still a major meteorological mystery to be solved.
What we do know is that lightning has an incredible capacity for destruction, and it can never be controlled.